Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Celebrity Room. I hope you guys are doing well. So, in today's video, we are going to talk about Dan Schneider. Now, recently the documentary from Discovery Channel has gone viral called Quiet on the Set, called The Dark Side of Kids TV. So, this dove into basically exposing the industry, different things that has happened to children in the entertainment industry. Now it mostly focused on Nickelodeon shows. So Dan Schneider, he's the creator of some of the best, because I'm a 90s kid. But he was a creator of some of the most successful kids TV programs at the time on Nickelodeon. So he did all that. The Amanda Show, Keenan and Kel, iCarly, there's a couple more. Oh, and Victorious. So, when this information came out, this was pretty devastating to all the parties involved. So, because of this documentary, Dan Schneider is actually going to sue the producers of Quiet on the Set. Now, it says that he is suing for defamation, claiming that he has suffered from both financial losses and mental distress. He says that the producers painted him as a pedophile, using editing and even excluding people that didn't add to the narrative of the show. Schneider also admits that he did display some bad behavior on the Nickelodeon set, but stand firmly behind the fact that he was unaware of the abuse that took place and spoke out against it once he found out. He said he feels like he was just thrown into the mix with two sex offenders that were present on set and convicted. So in a statement, TMZ Dan said, recently the documentary's Quiet on the Set highlighted mistakes I made and poor judgment I exhibited during the time at Nickelodeon, most of which happened decades ago during my early career as a producer, working on the shows for Todd and Robin Productions. There is no doubt that I sometimes was a bad leader. I am sincerely apologetic and regretful for the behavior, and I will continue to take accountability for it. He also said that they went beyond reporting the truth and falsely implied that I was involved in horrific crimes from which actual child predators have been prosecuted and convicted. I have no objection to anyone highlighting my failure as a boss, but it was wrong to mislead millions of people to the false conclusion that I was in any way involved in heinous acts that was committed by child predators. So I can say I did watch the whole series. It was broken into 4 parts. Now, when it comes to Dan Schneider, they, took a lot of different clips from his show that could be seen because, majority of the kids on those shows were underage, but there was a lot of sexual innuendos, kind of only adults would understand, that was in the show. They showed clips. So the main one was the feet thing. All right, so there was, especially in like iCarly, was it iCarly? No, sorry, Victorious. There was a lot of zooming into feet on that show. A lot of the kids eating food off their feet on the show, and that could be interpreted as being inappropriate. Like, when you watch back the scenes, like, you're just like, I can't believe that they would even allow stuff like that on TV. So a lot of foot fetish, it seemed, going on. There was some clips of Ariana Grande. I don't even think I can really talk about it, but the sexual can be interpreted really, for predators, interpreted in really disgusting ways. Now, when it came to the whole thing with Drake Bell, that was a completely different thing from the Dan Schneider. He actually came out and talked about the horrific things that he's gone through before the show, even Drake and Josh came out. And the crazy thing is, when I was younger watching that show, Drake Bell, he did seem he did look very tired and disturbed even as a teenager. So I don't really want to go into details, but Drake Bell has been through a lot of things, and the man that did these horrific things to Drake were actually a very popular person that worked on a lot of different children's sets in Hollywood, and he did groom him. And you know, the sad thing is that his dad tried to protect him from this individual. He tried his very hardest, but this person was very persistent, was able to still, you know, make Drake one of his victims. That part, Drake Bell's part, really did get in my head. I send him so many prayers and thoughts and condolences, because the things that were done to him as a child were just disgusting and unacceptable, and probably some of the worst things I've ever heard, to be honest. So that was different from the Dan Schneider. Now, the way that Dan Schneider was involved in that case, he basically, you know, so Dan was the creator of Drake and Josh, and you know, when the case came out originally of what happened, nobody knew who the kid was who was in it. And Dan, in the show, Drake said that Dan did approach Drake and was like, "Was this you?" Because his predator would literally always hang around him on set of all the different TV shows Drake was on at the time. So Dan did ask him, were you this person, this case? And he said, yeah. And you know, Dan was like, "I'm sorry," and and if I can help you any way I can, I could. So also in the documentary, so two female producers came forward and talked about, and actually sued Dan for, I think it was harassment, and also sexual harassment and discrimination. He, one of his first shows that Dan Schneider did, he only had, I think, 2 female producers, and they both ended up suing Dan in regards to discrimination and sexual harassment, because he would say very inappropriate things to them out of nowhere. And also at the writer's desk, a lot of their ideas, he would listen to their ideas, but he would demean all his female employees and weren't taking them as seriously. So I know that is one of the main things that he's probably talking about, as in he takes responsibility for. But yeah, that documentary was really something else. And you know, all the different child stars we have. What's the Jenny McCurry from iCarly? She, as we know, she wrote a book talking about, I think the book was called I'm Happy My Mom's Dead, something like that. And, you know, she talked about the different things that she went through being a child star. And we know with Amanda Bynes, I can't even start on Amanda Bynes. Seeing her every time is just heartbreaking. And allegedly, because I want to say allegedly, you know, years ago, Amanda Bynes did have a Twitter account talking about all the horrible things she went through on during the Amanda show. And allegedly, one of the things was getting pregnant by Dan Schneider.
Amanda Bynes tweeted years ago that she was impregnated by her boss at 13 years old. And many are guessing her boss was Dan Schneider. So Amanda Bynes explained the truth about Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon on her secret Twitter account years ago. Amanda's secret account went by the name of Ashley Banks, and she said she created this account at the time because her parents were controlling everything that she was doing, and she wanted the truth to be heard. Amanda posted pictures of her ID and pictures of herself to show everybody that this was actually her. And here are some of the things that Amanda Bynes said on her Twitter account. And this is the most heartbreaking one. Amanda Bynes writes, quote, "Can you imagine having an abortion at 13 because your boss impregnated you? And who else would have been her boss when she was 13 years old?"
Now, they didn't talk about that in the documentary. That was just something that was allegedly on her Twitter that she had. And there was, they showed a lot of different photos, and it was just like to me, as a grown adult, why are you in a bathtub with an underage child? There's a lot of different photos of them in hot tubs together. I think there was even clips of that on the show. But anyway, so Dan Schneider is going to be suing producers of this TV show, well, this series, and we will see how this plays out. I don't, because I grew up watching these shows. It's something else. And one of the main things, another thing that really stuck out to me was a woman who had her daughter in the entertainment industry. I don't know, I forget what the producer's name was, but her daughter was on a popular TV show, and one of the producers he gave her his email address, and he was emailing her daughter, on a regular basis. I think she was only 9 years old. And one day he just emailed her a picture of his private parts. And he was a very well-known producer. And then after that, her poor daughter was traumatized. And after that, she, tells people to never put their kids in the entertainment industry. So that was also a part of the documentary. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts and comments below? Thank you for watching today's video, and please like and subscribe for more content.
Dan Schneider, the man behind shows like iCarly and Victorious, has been accused of a number of bizarre things over the years, so let's talk about them. So if you don't know who Dan Schneider is, he's a former showrunner for Nickelodeon who had his hand in a ton of different shows. Shows like The Amanda Show, iCarly, All That, and so many others. And it was a few years ago when these allegations began to come out against Dan, so let's go back in time. First of all, we have to talk about how this guy has an obsession with feet. I mean, think about the old Nickelodeon logo. He had a hand in that logo being made. Here are just a few of his tweets from back in the day talking about children's toes. He's talking about Victoria Justice getting ketchup poured on her feet. This tweet that he made about Ariana Grande when she was a minor, calling her little and she's smiling at her co-star's feet. This one inviting a random fan online for a drive and asking them to rub his feet. Another one informing a fan to take a toe shower. And even this one where he asks for all of their fans, most of which were minors, to send in feet pics. So obviously this is all really strange, but it was Dan's on-set behavior that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So one of the things that former stars complained about was the fact that they were constantly sexualized on the show, which even just looking at this sort of stuff, you can see 100%. Two anonymous sources even came forward and claimed that Dan Schneider fought for more revealing outfits to be worn by the underage celebrities, and that he didn't like when the kids wore more modest outfits. He was also allegedly very handsy with the underage stars of the shows. He would allegedly have them sit on his lap on set, and people have also claimed that he would text the underage stars outside of work hours. I mean, all you have to do is look for photos and videos of him on set with some of these stars, and they're all obviously very, very uncomfortable with the way he's treating them and the way that he's acting around them. It also should be stated that Dan Schneider was eventually let go from Nickelodeon after this all became a huge deal, but they let him go because he was verbally abusive and would burst out with angry outbursts all the time while on set. I mean, there have been a lot of stars that have come out and spoken about Dan Schneider, including Jeanette McCurdy. In her memoir, she refers to a person known as the Creator, which people think obviously is Dan Schneider, and she claimed that he pressured her into drinking alcohol and then giving him a massage. And this is something that Dan has basically admitted to and asked for forgiveness for. He actually asked these underage stars of the shows for massages at different times, which is just, once again, really, really strange and should never happen. So basically, Dan was using his power and his position to manipulate all these people into giving him what he wanted, and no one was really able to question it. He would verbally abuse people, ask for these weird massages, pressure people into wearing things that they didn't want to wear. And once again, there's just so much feet stuff in his shows. I mean, just go look up a compilation on YouTube about all this. It's wild. There are also these tweets from Amanda Bynes that she tweeted a few years ago that are really strange. But I feel like there's still so much to this story that hasn't been told, and I hope we find out more about what really happened in the near future.
Okay, better on that time, but still, keep the attitude a little more where we were when you turned to him for the, you brighten it up a little bit. Okay, well, I still thought it was great, and then stop look more.
Stop laughing at the director. Show some respect, Jeanette. Respect. No smiling. All right. Take $100 off her check. Why are you people all yellow? Why do you look like Simpsons characters?
Why did we come out yellow? I play this extra.
Don't stare at me like that. You're scaring me.
Sorry.
The fans still don't know who you are.
They will.
Take a look at her, and then you've seen that face before. Here we go. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go. All right.
But no, it's just the oh man, but it's that attitude.
Oh yeah. No, I was gonna say, oh man, here we go. All right.
I'll do that.
Okay.
That'd be bad.
What's with the boots? Why is Carly
I
always
don't know. I'm
wearing
always
boots?
wearing these boots this season.
So she can be in combat at any moment.
I want to wear boots.
What?
I'm becoming shorter and shorter by the week.
You know what? I think everybody's getting tired of your attitude.
Right? I'll buy you some lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It breaks my heart, and I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
It breaks his heart that the kid who he had kicked off the show because his mom was asking questions had problems. It breaks his heart. Did it break his heart to crush that kid's dreams? No.
Any kid who ever had to do a dare or anything that they didn't
Any kid. No names, no specificity, no specific apologies.
want to do or weren't comfortable doing. We went out of our way to make sure they were safe and that everything was done properly. But if a kid was scared and didn't want to do it, kids shouldn't have had to do it.
Yeah.
Period. The end.
Right.
And if I had known at the time, I would have changed it.
Well, there was a kid getting licked by dogs with peanut butter all over his body saying, I don't like this.
On the spot.
Now, we also saw the series